Hey, welcome to Keep On Growing. And tonight we're going to be talking about mushrooms. And we've got Tracy from Mill Creek Market, and that's
Hi.
Pennsylvania, right?
We are. We're in northern Pennsylvania.
Cool, cool. Now, Tracy was on here as I think my first guest with Sam was
I
on
think
here.
I was. I think it was the first garden chat. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. So now you're back and you're talking about mushrooms. So I'll give you a couple minutes when people are just kind of strolling in here to kind of recap and just tell us a little bit about yourself and what y'all do, and then we'll
Yeah.
get into the mushroom talk.
Yeah. We are in northern Pennsylvania. We're growing gourmet mushrooms and microgreens. We started doing it just for ourselves because we wanted a treat. But when we're in the mountains, it's about an hour drive to get to like an Aldi or a Wegman or anything other than just a shop and save grocery store. We got to drive to get there. So we started growing these things for ourselves, and slowly it just turned into there's a lot of fungus among us, and we just had mushrooms everywhere. So we start giving them away and start learning how to preserve them and dry them, and really be more careful with saving the food that we grow and preserving the food that we grow. And then it just, like I said, kept snowballing from there. And we're lucky enough, we're about 6 months in business. We launched back in February, and we went through our first growth cycle, selling out every week, every harvest, and it's just been a huge blessing sharing the food that we're growing in our homes for ourselves, sharing them with our friends and with our community.
Awesome. I'm gonna throw your
Yeah, that's that.
Instagram up here real quick. I'll put it up here
It,
and scroll
I feel
through.
like you just popped up a picture of my firstborn or something. It's crazy how much you invest in. I never thought that I would invest that much in a social media platform or in anything online, but I am so dang proud of those mushrooms and that little Instagram page.
Hmm.
I
Oh,
feel
it's
like you're just
awesome.
showing pictures of my kids.
And happy anniversary. So y'all just had an anniversary.
Which, yeah. My father-in-law got us a greenhouse for our anniversary. It is the coolest thing I could have ever imagined. I never would have thought I'd have a space like that, and it's pretty awesome. I'll post about it soon, I'm sure. My husband's frantically building shelves and painting the floor and stuff.
Is
He's like,
he?
I can have this done by garden chat. Like it's
Cool.
okay.
Let me see. I'll show them all. These are oyster mushrooms right there.
Yep.
Got all
So
kinds
those
right
are
there. Check
we grow
this
a
out.
lot of variety of oysters. They're abundant. Oyster mushrooms are some of the widest in variety and some of the easiest to grow. If you're looking to buy a grow kit or grow some yourself, oysters are a great place to start. Now those are golden oysters. And I want to
Cool.
just put out a little caution about those. Those they're not given invasive species classification,
Mm-hmm.
but among mycologists, they're recognized as quite invasive. So keep your golden mushrooms, keep your golden oysters inside if you do decide to cultivate some of those. They will completely consume any hardwood they come in contact with and snuff out other native species. Those are some chestnuts. They're like a cinnamon cap is what they're also called, a lot like a wine cap mushroom, the same species, same family.
Mm-hmm.
They have a real nutty flavor. And that's my husband, proud as can be. Like I said, these turn into something very personal. It's
Yeah, that's your babies.
they
Oh
are.
wow. Yeah.
That's an aspen oyster. We had some beautiful aspen flushes. Those are Inaki. We
Mm-hmm.
bottle grow Inaki mushrooms. They're tricky. They like a really high CO2. So mushrooms are a lot closer to humans than plants. They're breathing oxygen. They're releasing the CO2. So Inaki like that high CO2 content. We grow them in a mason jar with a collar to kind of restrict that fresh air that they're getting.
Right. Cool. Those looked awesome. Hey everyone who's popping in there, Tony. Let's see, Ty, Juliana, what's up?
someone else is excited about mushrooms. She's just very excited about this. That makes me feel excited too. When I found
Cool.
out you guys were interested in growing mushrooms, it just about made my day.
Hey, Julie. Yeah, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, we've been, I mean, for years been wanting to try and, but we just get busy doing everything else. Um, so how do y'all start with mushrooms?
We started with those at-home grow kits. A lot of companies are doing them. They've become very user friendly to buy a bag and set it on your counter and grow some mushrooms of your own. You can get several harvests off these little bags. And that's kind of how we got started. We just bought a few. Um, I actually have a few for you that I'm sending out your way. I have two here. I thought you and Mrs. V could have a little mushroom grow off
Oh,
and we
cool.
could see who could grow the best fungus.
All right.
But they're
That's,
really user friendly. We started with grow bags like this and
mhm.
they come ready to go. We use a master, it's called a master's mix. It's 50-50 soy hull and hardwood pellet. So we hydrate that mix, we pack it in these bags and we pressure cook it till it's sterile. And then we inject it. We don't inject it, we incorporate it. Let me see if I have a jar. I got lots of jars everywhere. We
Mhm.
incorporate it with colonized grain. So these two mix together, and then the grain colonizes the grow medium, and that's what we send out. What we can send out. That's what you're buying when you purchase these kits. So
Okay.
it's super user friendly. A lot of
Cool.
companies, if you do go out and buy these, I really want to encourage you to follow the company's instructions, and they're all unique. That we've had some grow bags that want you to scratch the surface. We've purchased some that want you to open them and completely submerge them. So
Mhm.
first and foremost, follow the instruction from whatever company you got your bag from. They know the nuances of that bag, and that's going to give you the most success.
Okay, cool. What do we have to do anything to get ready or
You don't
just
really have
simply?
to do anything to get ready. I'm going to send some instructions,
Oh, okay, cool.
and you guys are kind of like my guinea pigs. So I don't want to tell you too much because I want to know if my instructions are good, right? Is
No,
that a
that's
good?
good. That's like what we did the other night where when I was doing the little opt-in page net, so I just had everybody try it. It's the best way to do it is just get somebody,
Yeah.
to go through the process. So yeah, we're honored to be the guinea pigs for that.
I am honored. I couldn't be happier that you guys show as someone. It's just like whatever you're interested in. Anytime someone shows an interest in that too, I get a little too excited, but I get really excited when people get excited about mushrooms. Now,
Yeah.
I will say there are some similarities across the board when you're growing mushrooms that I could advise you on that would give you success no matter who you got your bag from. So, no matter what the nuances are of those specific instructions, there's a few things that you can definitely do to be more successful. The
Okay.
first thing is cleanliness. So, inside this bag is a sterile environment, as close to a sterile environment as we can get. The mycelium's strong. It's going to act as its own immune system. So when you open this bag up, you can almost, in my head, I can hear it take its first breath, right? And it's got
Right.
its first exposure to germs and the fresh air and the world around us. You want to clean this bag. It's like a baby. You wouldn't go touch a baby without washing your hands, especially maybe even someone that's a little immune system is compromised. You would be more cautious. You're going to do that with this. Alcohol, clean your surface, clean your workspace, clean your hands. You're going to need a sharp knife to cut into this, so clean your utensils. So anytime you get a hold of a mushroom grow bag, be
Hmm.
clean. Be as clean as you can. And that's going to ensure that you're not introducing any bacteria that will overtake what you're trying to do, overtake your mycelium. Contamination is going to creep in. Another thing I want to caution you against is don't put your mushrooms near your plants. It seems like they would have a symbiotic relationship, and in nature they do, but your dirt has got trichoderma in it. You can't get away from it. Trichoderma is a type of mold that it's everywhere. It's
Mm-hmm.
in hardwood. It's in untreated clay. So just putting those two together introduces a lot more bacteria and contamination than it's worth having that oxygen exchange. So try
Okay.
and stay away from that. Hydroponics are special though, right?
Yeah.
We can see a little bit, and my husband's agreeing to let me put my grow racks by the mushroom tent because there's no dirt involved. So hydroponic friendly, no dirt.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So we'll have to, I got a little bit of soil stuff around in that too, so we'll just have to be careful. Should we
And
put it in a container or something, like a tote?
you can. I'm going to send you a plastic bag.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to send you this. And this is another thing you can do with any bag that you get. You're looking to create humidity, not moisture on the mushroom. So you are probably going to get like a spray bottle when you buy these kits. You're going to be encouraged to spray your block. Don't spray the fruit directly.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking for humidity in the environment. And you can create a little microclimate with a shopping bag. You can use a mono tub is a technique that you could grow with. And that's where we progress from these grow bags is we end up with 5 or 6 grow bags on our counter. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
maybe we should get someplace to put these. So we made our first mono tub, which is sounds fancier than it is. It's just a tote with some holes drilled in it. You can put it into an environment like that. You're creating a microclimate. But if you spray the inside of, you're using this like a tent, not like a bag.
Right.
Spray the inside of your tent, get the humidity built up in there, and put it right over top of your bags. You've got that microclimate now.
Cool.
So mushrooms need a couple things to grow. Fresh air. As a mycologist, you hear the term FAE. So you're looking for fresh air exchange, that oxygen coming in, the CO2 getting flushed away because it's just going to pool up around. Every once in a while, you're letting in the fresh air and you're squirting your bag to keep the humidity up. You're doing that 2 or 3 times a day.
Cool. Yeah, I'll keep an eye on it because we're here in Florida. We've got like some days like near 100% humidity in that. So
Yeah, you can't have too much humidity. It likes it. It really enjoys it. You can have too much wet. So if you notice that you get a lot of humidity built up in your bag and it's dripping
hmm
on your fruit,
right.
that could cause some problems. And
Okay.
you're looking at like blight, things like that, blotch, just from that moisture buildup.
Cool. Julie says she has a tent specifically dedicated to mushrooms.
Yes. So Julie took it to the next level. From the mono tub, we ended up in a Martha tent. And one day my husband's shouting from the basement, Tracy, Tracy. And I go down and he's 2 hands holding up the Martha tent because we had over 100 pounds of substrate packed into that Martha tent. A lot of people are doing that too. You can get little Martha tents. That's a great place to put your mushrooms.
Cool.
You can go down the rabbit hole. You can start adding fans. You can start adding little humidifiers until you work up to something like we have now, which is, if you check out our Instagram page, we've got a beautiful grow tent. It's huge. I can't even believe that we've gone this far with it, but it's a giant microclimate, 4x4 with a fogger, and they're happy in there.
So those you have that rack of mushrooms or whatever that you had on your Instagram. That's like just in a 4x4 grow room.
Yeah. Yep. That's a tent.
Yeah.
We use a company called AC Infinity. They make a lot of great products. If you're looking to get into that, just do your research. Find
Cool.
what's good for your space.
Wow. Hey, and what are you doing here too? You dehydrating?
My husband made a little score. Yep, that's reishi. My husband found those when he was fly fishing. There's a little video of his cache that he found right there. Yep. He pulled in some chaga. I'm dehydrating that right now, and then some
Uh-huh.
reishi. There's some oysters. That's a Berkeley.
Wow.
There's some chicken of the woods.
Oh,
Just some
wow.
beautiful stuff. And we dehydrate as much of that as we can. We didn't get to all of it. That's some giant mushrooms there.
Yeah.
But the reishi and the chaga were my priority. They're medicinal mushrooms. We don't eat those in recipes. We dehydrate them and powder them and put them in our tea. There's our grow tent. That is already too small for our needs. I wish we had a giant one.
Cool. And microgreens too, right?
Yep, we grow peas, sunflowers, and broccoli. Right now we're doing broccoli, but we switch back between broccoli and cabbage. Um, it's so easy when you're growing microgreens to have 10 different trays of 10 different microgreens because the variety is just huge. But we really
Right.
try and just stick with what we can master. I don't want to have a million things on our menu that I grow so. I want to have one or two or three things that we grow perfectly.
Right. Yeah, that's cool. And especially y'all take it to market, right? That's where you
That was the goal. It's been such a huge blessing. The goal at the beginning of the summer was to get to farmers market. I thought that was
Mhm.
the end all be all triumph. And then we just started getting our orders coming in before we were fruiting them. And we've been solely grown to order, and everything gets shipped out the door before market shows up. We have not made a successful showing at a farmer's market yet. So that's
Okay.
my goal for next summer. Just continuing to up our production,
Hmm.
continuing to up our quality, and making as much mushrooms as we can. But
Cool.
you get capped off by your grow space.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Got a couple of questions in the chat. There was one right there.
I don't mean to ignore the chat questions. I'm on my cell phone and it's so tiny. Can't
Yeah.
get in there
It's
and
like,
see them.
says I may have missed this, but is there a desired temperature you should have? I live in
Yeah,
a dry environment.
there definitely is. And each mushroom has its own likes and its own dislikes. So, like, we call this lion's mane, but we're actually growing a heat resistant variety right now called lion's paw. And the temperatures get a little higher in the summer. This is just a particular variety that's been created to withstand the heat. So each mushroom, like in the winter, will grow a lion's beard, which likes colder temperatures. If you're growing oysters, all within the gamut of oyster mushrooms, there's different temperatures that they like. Pink oysters like it a little warmer. Those aspens that you saw like it a little colder, appropriately, aspen. Um,
Right.
so it's really about doing some research, finding what's right for you. If you live in a drier environment, creating your microclimate is going to be really important, but you can't control the temperature that much. You need to look for varieties that like that hotter, heat resistant varieties. There's definitely desired
Different.
temperatures you're looking for.
Right.
My husband has a little app now that he can monitor the humidity and the temperature in our tent. And I finally said, Chris, you need to put that down. Like we don't need a minute by minute play by play of the humidity and the temperature in the grow tent.
And the
But
humidity is
it's very
good.
important. We monitor it heavily.
Let's see. Hello, Mike and Keely and everyone here. How you
Tennessee, love
doing?
Tennessee.
Cool mushrooms. Excited to learn about mushrooms.
Nice.
Love eating them. Let's see. Dan's just saying, hey, here we go. So I have 0 trees in my yard. The only wood I have is a pine fence. Would it be safe to try and redo my oysters outside in straw?
Yeah, there are lots of ways you can put your mushrooms outside and get them more nutrition. Once you fruit these bags, it's surviving off of that master's mix that we talked about. Once you fruit them 2 or 3 times, you're going to notice that your mushrooms are getting smaller. Maybe they don't look as nice. You're not doing anything wrong. That just means it doesn't have any more nutrition. So she's saying she doesn't have any hardwood in
Hmm.
her yard. Um, you can incorporate that into your grow space. So you can get some of these hardwood pellets. You can put them out there. You can do lugs. So it's a technique where you take a log, drill a hole into it, put your mycelium plug in there, and then you kind of varnish it off with a I unfortunately don't know the nuances of this, so I shouldn't have brought it up. I don't even know what that varnish is. I feel like it's some kind of varnish, but that doesn't seem wax, possibly. It sounds a
Hmm.
little better. That's a whole technique. There are million, maybe not million. There's a lot of ways to grow mushrooms. So that's where your research comes in. That's coming in, finding what's good for your space. And if you don't have any hardwood or anything out there, maybe a option like a plug is a better choice for you. You
Let's
think
see.
you do manage that side straw. Straw also, we talked about this a little bit last time, laundry basket techniques that have the laundry basket with the holes. You're heating and hydrating your straw to kind of sterilize it, putting it layered into these laundry baskets and crumpling up what's left of these grow bags and making layers out of that. Kind of keeping it wet with your garden hose and in a nice shady spot is another great way to get mushrooms. There's a lot of different, like hydroponics, there's a lot of
Mhm.
different techniques that can work for your space.
Oh, cool. So you're saying like when we're done with that grow bag or whatever, we can take it and build up like a little straw basket thing like you're talking about?
You definitely can. And
Give it a try.
that's some great idea for some content. I would love to make a video to show you how to do that. I would
Yeah.
just be looking at somebody else's video and copying what they do because there's a bunch of people out there that are doing examples like this, from home gardeners to professionals. It's that easy to do some of these techniques. So if you start searching for this online, you're going to see a different gamut of skill level doing exactly that. That basket is really popular technique. So there's a lot of different ideas out there to do it.
Oh, cool. Let's see, about
75
75 degrees. I'm sorry. Some like
Yeah.
it colder, the higher your temp, the more likely mold and other contaminants will grow.
Yep. She's absolutely right. The environment you're creating is not just good for growing mushrooms. It's great for growing mold, bacteria. So you really have to watch the parameters of growth that's going to come through with each different variety. And there are those general numbers that you could follow that you want to make sure you stay within safe parameters to grow. Once you get bacteria and contamination like that in your grow space, very difficult to get rid of. So keeping a clean environment, keeping that microclimate controlled is your best bet when you get to a bigger level. If you've got more than 4 or 5 bags, then you're going to be definitely worried about something like contamination spreading through all your bags.
Got me scared now.
You've got 2 bags. Don't be worried. There's no worries. When you start making a mono tub and asking me about ventilation and fogger units, then we can talk more about that. Then you can worry.
Oh, okay. I mean, in regards to the invasive comment.
In regards to the golden oysters, keep them inside. Do not put them outside. I apologize. I didn't realize she was still referencing that. And I'm encouraging you to, yeah, take them outside. No,
Oh, okay.
I keep saying this. I feel like a broken record, but that's where your research comes in. That's where you're looking into the varieties that you're growing. Start with an oyster mushroom and start with something that's right for your space and learn
Hmm.
about it. Learn as much as you can about it. Like I'm sending you this lion's mane. So if I were interested in growing mushrooms for the first time, I would go out and do some research and find out as much as I can about my lion's mane that I just ordered, or whatever variety you just order, you pick from that grow bag. Go do some research about it and learn about it. Learn what's
Okay.
inside of it. There's health benefits that range, a huge variety of health benefits across different species of mushrooms. So if you're a diabetic and you're looking for some diet choices that can aid with that, start doing some searches. You're going to get oyster mushrooms pop up. Um, if for me personally, I have a traumatic brain injury. I hit my head a few too many times. So it's given me some cognitive things that I've had to rehabilitate out of, but it's also given me some things that I can't fix through rehab or physical therapy.
Hmm.
And by incorporating lion's mane mushroom into my diet, I've noticed a big difference that I wasn't getting with just a hyperbaric chamber or supplements or things like that. So if you have a specific health need, I'd almost bet that there's a mushroom out there for you.
Cool. Cool. Yeah, I have to go down the rabbit hole with that. Can you grow in buckets, or you can grow in buckets drilled and filled with hardwood like you use for smokers?
You definitely can. Buckets are another great technique. And that's something that, as a commercial grower, I would really like to move into, because it's just all of this plastic, and it's the plague of the mushroom industry. And
Mhm.
growers that have that passion to be a little bit more environmentally conscious don't like this. So there's a lot of other choices that you can pursue, like a bucket. Maintaining the sterility of that is more difficult. There's different logistics. So that's great for a home grower. You can do the same idea as your laundry basket with a bucket, drilled some holes in it. Covering up those holes and restricting that airflow while the bucket colonizes is going to help you out. Because back to
Mhm.
what we talked about before, that mushrooms need that airflow, fresh air exchange to grow. So if you're trying to get your mushroom colonized and you're giving it all that fresh air, it's going to get confused. So drill your holes and just kind of cover them up with some tape. You can use pretty much anything and restrict that airflow. You'll have a nice colonized bucket in about a week or two, and you can start to remove that tape over those holes and grow some
Mhm.
mushrooms.
Oh, cool.
Mushrooms are medicine, absolutely. And I take it very personally. I take it very seriously to try and not give health advice, right? I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionist. I can just tell my story, and I can just tell where I've been and what we've gone through with it. So do the research. What's your health need? What's your issue? Start searching that. Find your mushroom.
Cool. NB said,
I love
absolutely
your
love your
channel too,
channel.
Mike.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Don't make me feel so good. Yep. And hit the little like button. Thank you, Juliana. And Keely was tickled. She was watching. She sent us a little email. Her daughter had painted a rock, and it was very nice. It was
You saw
cool.
that? That looks so cool.
And it's Keely gets tickled just like me when I'm, see other people planning things. I get tickled about it. And when she sees other people, especially kids, like getting into art, it's really fun. I had one thing, a little off subject, but one of our viewers um, sent me an email, and she's actually teaching like a little class, and she sent me pictures. I can't really show the pictures on here because it's got kids, and I don't have permission, all of their permission to show the picture. But that was just like, it just kind of like melt your heart. You see a bunch of kids. There was adults
Yeah.
in the class in that too, but there's like a group of kids sitting around, and she had a plant, and she's teaching them. And I think she's out west right now, and she's talking about when she goes back to New York, she's going to be teaching there some people how to do it, and then even going down to Mexico or something. So it's all pretty cool. I always, like I said, when I get messages like that, that's what just keeps me going in that.
Yeah, that's incredible. Being able to share things that can help people grow their own food, be more health conscious, and get a variety of those health benefits. Whenever I see someone get excited about mushrooms or get excited about microgreens, it's like, yes, they get it. They understand.
Yeah. Let's see. You may have discussed this. What kind of ventilation is required to grow them inside?
Very good ventilation. You Once you start growing commercially and you have more than 4 or 5 bags fruiting at a time, there poses some health risks beyond the contamination. There's something called spore lung. I actually have a video on my Instagram page. We are new in this space. We were running all this out of our kitchen. We brought about a dozen mushrooms up, and I like to stack them up, right, and get the nice picture. And one of them started to spore as I'm taking a video. And you can watch on the video 3 or 4 mushrooms sync up all at the same time and just start dumping spores all over my kitchen. It was horrific. So you want ventilation that's going to keep you safe from those spores. You want them to get out of your grow space. You don't want them hanging, like I don't want them hanging out with the other mushrooms. Harvesting those mushrooms before they spore is paramount, especially if you want to go further down that rabbit hole and collect your spore samples and continue those genetics going. You don't want your mushrooms sporing in your tent, but if they do start sporing in your grow environment, you need ventilation. We have a rule that when there's more than 50 bags in the tent, anytime we open the tent, we wear a mask. I don't know if you can see my ventilation running behind me, like that's sophisticated. You want to keep negative pressure in there. So we want to make sure that our exhaust going out is more than our fresh air coming in. And that cycle's got to keep going enough to keep that fresh air exchange happening so their mushrooms are getting enough oxygen. Ventilation is extremely important, especially if you're going more than a dozen bags. You don't want those spores in your home.
Cool. Mushrooms, microgreens, and kefir. Go in my smoothie every day. Yeah, that sounds good. Or just thinking about that.
If you like microgreens in your smoothie and you can't get a hold of them on a regular basis, buy a whole bunch, put them into individual little packages and freeze them. They just crunch right up and get tossed right in your smoothie. Microgreens freeze really nice. People don't think about that, doing that.
Cool. Yeah, because sometimes you have too much. I've had brain surgery due to aneurysms, and the doctor did recommend lion's mane mushrooms.
Wow, Tina, you're a trooper.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
The Back to Roots will send a kit to schools when you grow and share it. Oh, cool. And so I may be sending 2 pre-K teachers a kit. Oh, that's cool. They're going to be
that's a great tip. Companies like that. And if you can't find a company like that, or you don't want to go with a bigger company, I can almost bet you that there's a grower like me somewhere in your vicinity. But if you decide to go with a company like that, there are groups out there that are doing some really amazing things, just sharing the same kind of fight that we're fighting, the good fight. Grow your own food at home and have more people have access to the ability to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Great to have the information. I share the information. Awesome. Thank you. And something else. Spores will signal your mycelium to stop fruiting.
Yeah. So
stop.
When a mushroom fruits and you let that life cycle continue to the spore process, you're sending signals. This is an organism. You're sending signals to that saying either A, this space is great, keep growing, or B, you're about to die. So it's going to send messages. Is this a sentient being? Can it sense me? Does it know that I'm here? It does. It senses its environment way more. It's very sensitive, way more than we give it credit for.
I've seen some really interesting stuff about mushrooms and them. Like people say they can, like, some of them, like, think and communicate and stuff like that. That's a great idea.
We don't give enough credit to the network of things that's happening under the ground. If you want, give me just a second. If you want to read up some good information, I mean, Hall of Fame, it's going to give you the best information that you could possibly find. This is definitely a book that everybody should pick up. No kickback off of this book. I have nothing to do with it, but it's Growing Gourmet and Medicinal Mushrooms. This is going to be your Bible. And this is you can access all of this stuff online, but if you're really passionate about mushrooms and growing it, this is one of the first books that I recommend you get a hold of. And it's going to give you the nuances to all those different mushrooms.
Cool. Now, I've got, before you send it to me, let's see, we've got like a real small house. Don't have like a whole lot of room to put it. My garage is not climate controlled. I have a little AC that I turned on. I think after the next couple of days, we're going to be in the high 80s around here. I might have a little room in like my little grow rack that's out in the washroom, but it's not climate controlled out there either. So sometimes it goes up over 90 in there.
So it's just going to stall it out. Anytime you come out of those parameters of its ideal environment, it's going to stall it
Mm-hmm.
out. Too hot, too cold. If you notice that that starts to happen, put it someplace a little cooler. As long as it's not getting direct sunlight and baking,
Mm-hmm.
test it out. Try it out and see.
Okay, cool. We still got mushrooms like popping up in the yard and that. So
Yeah. And if they have a nice shady spot with some moisture, they'll do that. This is a great time of year for mushrooms. We're seeing them pop up everywhere in Pennsylvania. I don't know about where you guys are from, but this is Paul is the Mushroom King. I think Julie's my new best friend. You want to be friends, Julie?
yeah, y'all connect. Well, I don't know how I put pin a comment here. If y'all haven't got her Instagram,
Oh my gosh, go over there and check it out. And if you see
that's right.
something, we get so excited when people like their stuff and want to talk about our stuff. I could talk about mushrooms all day.
Yeah, so that I just popped that into the chat there real quick, and y'all go check it out. Yeah, look at all these mushrooms. So if you ever want to try something like that, if y'all are trying to, if you've got questions, pop over
Hit me
to
up.
Mill Creek there, and so you can see they grow all different kinds of stuff.
Yeah, those are some Black Pearl Kings. They really like the cold, so we're not growing any of
Yeah.
those in the summer, but they're
Right,
beautiful mushrooms. Those are an oyster variety.
looks
Cooking
delicious.
some breakfast.
Yeah, my stomach just growled. Wow, look at
Yeah, I think I put a post on there. How do you sell beautiful mushrooms? You eat the ugly ones.
that. That's the cool one.
Thumbs up.
But yeah, let me just scroll through here real quick. This it always just amazes me all the different ones and that. Those look awesome. Yeah, so Mill Creek Market. I'll go check them out. Now, Tracy, have y'all started? Are you on YouTube or have
We
like
are
a
not
business
on
page?
YouTube, and that's why I think I'm loving Garden Chat so much. I feel like the second I was asking for information like you're putting out here, you
Mm-hmm.
showed up, and it was just such a blessing. I'm
Cool.
along for the ride. I'm not on YouTube. I'm working on my content, working on getting our viewers up, and uh, I'm following the Mr. Van Duzy path to internet success.
Well, cool. You guys are like a perfect, candidate because you're actually doing something that's interesting. Not everyone does it. I know when you go look and you see, a bunch of content out there and all that, but you'll get your own little like group of people following you and just like you just picked up two right there.
Love it. That's
Yeah.
perfect. I love
And it
it.
will get
And
get you going on YouTube and the other channels and that too. And it won't take long because you guys already your Instagram looks like awesome. So it's just getting you cross posting and then maybe making some videos. We'll be doing that like editing and putting a
yeah,
couple of long form content up and that. And
yeah, I checked out your editing software. There was a free version of that I downloaded. It's got a giant watermark across it, but to learn and to practice, it doesn't make a
Mhm.
difference. It's great software. I am really picky about just getting something that looks right. You want something that looks good, and you see
Mhm.
all these creators that are making this content that looks like they live in a movie theater, and mine looks like the opening credits for the Wonder Years. I'm just really really struggling to get that content that doesn't look like I'm a home movie maker. But having you say that and having you lay that out for me, it seemed so simple once I digested it. We're already doing something interesting. We might think it's mundane making 50 bags, but people aren't doing that in their home, and we are. So, just recording more of our process, getting more content to a point where we're getting viewers that we do have an option to monetize, unless you're getting those views.
Another one. Yep. Yeah, there's and yeah, we'll help you out. Like I look through your Instagram and that, And then, but like I said, because you're doing it like me, I get, I just do microgreens like every day. And, but if you go and film it, there's some things, you can do something. Well, we'll show you different things. Like I was talking about the hook and all of that. But you
Yeah,
guys have got like really interesting like content. It's and people, um, there's tons of people like doing tomatoes and like all the same stuff, but there's not a whole lot just doing, especially like the lion's mane and the chestnuts. You could be doing like tons of videos like that and shorts and popping them out, and you guys, it's not going to take any time to take off.
it's
I just
really something that I had to wrap my brain around. I'm 42 years old. Like I grew up, I was the internet baby. I grew up in the 90s. This should be second nature to me, but I never thought about it, about being a content creator or putting anything out there that was interesting. So it's it's taking a different mindset for me to start recording what we're doing. Um, Now that we have a space that's a little bit more presentable and it looks more professional, people don't really want to watch you sitting around your dirty kitchen, like with dishes everywhere and your feral toddler running around. Like, having this space is a huge blessing to be able to make some content. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's cool. It gets me so excited. It should not get me as excited as it does when people like my stuff on Instagram, but it does.
Yeah.
It feels good.
See, that's what some people don't realize too, is that, like I said, you're wearing like all the hats. You're going to be filming, editing, posting, promoting. You do everything. But some of those bigger channels that look fancy like that, you might see like one person, but they've got all these other people. There was one
Right.
TikToker, and she made cakes back years ago, and we were friends on TikToks, and both of us didn't have like a real big channel yet, but she like blew up, like millions of followers,
Yeah.
and I just thought, she was just it was just her making the cake all the time.
Yeah.
And I haven't really watched too much. I haven't watched a whole lot of things. And I went back in there and saw, and she was showing her team and who was posting like social
Right.
media, the filming.
There's no
Yeah,
team.
like whole big team. So
That's what my
yeah, so
husband said. Remember when I used to make mushrooms with my wife and now I'm making mushrooms with Steven Spielberg? Like, I'm like, okay, wait, hold on. He says, is my hand in the shot? I'm like, yeah, okay, go ahead.
yeah, it's just like, go out to eat. Everybody brings out the food, and then before they eat, it's like, wait,
All
taking
the
pictures.
cameras come out. Yeah, we actually had to create a policy in the house that I made a separate Instagram plate because he was tired of waiting for his plate to get photographed before he got his plate. So I agreed that I'll make a separate Instagram plate.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's gonna be lots of stuff that you go through like that. I
Julie is
because I
definitely my new best friend.
yeah,
Pennsylvania is such a drag.
Colorado. I just well, y'all got mountains up there too. We went out to Colorado once, to Denver.
We don't have mountains like they have in Colorado. So we're at the top of the Appalachian. We're actually on something called the Allegheny Plateau.
Uh,
It
so
seems
you're
mountainous compared to Philadelphia, but it's not the Rocky Mountains.
yeah. She said you got a great voice and you're knowledgeable. Yeah,
Oh,
so that's
thanks.
I've been like for ever since I've been on like 2017, so 2018, and I started a little group like Creator Spotlight, and then I was helping them, but I could like pick like with over 90% accuracy, like who was gonna who had it and who didn't, and you kind of know. And then after that's a little, some people can put in the work and actually do, but you could tell right away. And like I said, y'all got great content, and you already have like your Instagram page that looks awesome. It's just
Oh,
getting a
thanks.
little bit of the name
I
of the
like
channel.
I like hearing you say that because my 21-year-old daughter told me it looked dated.
Your channel?
Yes,
Ah,
I don't know what that means. To a 20-year-old, it looks dated, mom. Okay. Doing my
yeah,
best. And it's not one of those cookie cutter pages that I feel like people are trying to create where all your text is the same. And this, we're trying to be professional, but this is our life. This, we're living this and we're trying to enjoy this at the same time. So there's a lot of us in that social media content. And my husband pulls the reins on me a lot. Like, let's keep it professional. Otherwise, I would have pictures of all my garden stuff and my greenhouse. And I do try and keep it a little reined in with the gardening. Otherwise, it would just turn into a gardening channel.
Yeah.
Gardening page.
Oh, he's gonna hate my course.
No, he actually. We have been watching old Van Duzy. We've been watching new Van Duzy. We've just been digesting Van Duzy and Hucho all summer long. We're just really trying to figure out a better way to grow as much food as possible and
Yeah. Yeah.
not
No,
have
that's
to go to the
cool.
grocery store.
Yeah. And people nowadays, there's not a whole lot of people overall that like go to the Instagram homepage and like scroll your, to see. And I know what you're talking about. They used to do like the grids. You'd like upload all these pictures. People don't really look at that anymore. And it's more, like I said, the more and more we get towards AI and all this just crap that comes out,
Yeah,
it's, they're looking for more of the human, if you can be human and just, y'all get out there and just show what you're doing. It's gonna, I mean, uh, your page doesn't look dated. It looks awesome.
whole
And
thing.
you just get to do a couple little tweaking and Instagram. That's good. You've got that. And so what we're going to teach you is you do a little something different on the other platforms.
Yeah,
There's a little different crowd on Facebook and a little different crowd on YouTube and that. But y'all do awesome. We got plenty of time to talk about all that. But
thanks,
um,
Melody. That's sweet. It's
and
easy be to talk freely about something that you're passionate about, and I can't. I'm going back to the health advice again, but I can't say enough how much incorporating a medicinal dose of lion's mane has done for my brain. I have like jitter that I just can't get rid of. It's called Parkinson's effect. It's not Parkinson's. It's a stupid thing to call it, but it's just a shake, and I can't rehab my way out of that. Lion's mane's taken that from a shake that I can't have dexterity to just like a little jitter when I'm holding maybe some paper, like you notice. It turned that brain fog. I would flip words. So like that chair is blue. I would say that blue is chair. Or I'd be trying to order my food out at a restaurant. I don't know, I just flip my words, and it was a little embarrassing. My husband would start ordering for me. Since I started taking that lion's mane, I've got that cognitive ability to express myself back. And that felt like that was robbed from me. I can't put together a sentence. What good am I?
mhm,
So that's a mushroom. A mushroom did that for me.
cool. Now, it's a, I don't know if I saw that questions in that. I'm trying to keep up with the chat. I love what you do. And do y'all do this? I don't know if you do explain like what a tincture is, or do you not?
So the tincture brings up a whole nother stressful point. There's a lot of business laws that they don't tell you about when you want to start your own business. And
Hmm.
I do like to make tinctures, but selling them requires a different license. And um, that's a whole nother.
Okay.
Can we do a business law garden chat next after we're done
Yeah.
with social media? Because and each state has its own nuances. So when you start getting into things like tinctures and dry goods, you're moving out of raw agricultural produce and you're moving into a goods a production space where you need licensing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I understand all that. It's just like there's all kinds of stuff. They got cottage laws down here, and they've got um, there's a difference, between like your microgreens and sprouts,
Yeah.
and all kinds of regulations and that you have to adhere to and everything. So,
Yeah.
um,
So in Pennsylvania, we operate under something called cottage law, which like
mhm,
anybody can set up a fruit stand and sell like their zucchini or whatever they grow. There's no restriction on that. So raw agricultural produce is kind of falling under cottage law. You get value added products, and then you
mhm,
start to have a little bit more government. You got to cooperate. You have to have your I can't even think of the word now because it stresses me out so much thinking about it. You got to have all your licenses.
Yeah,
It's a lot. Business law, garden check.
that's
I would
good.
I'd sign up for that too.
She said she's got three dyslexics. Feel free to talk backwards.
Yeah, so I have raging ADHD and I was just diagnosed last year, but something that is a really big thing about ADHD for me is spatial awareness. So as a result of being untreated for 40 years, I get in a lot of accidents. I'm very clumsy and when I started having some of these crazy things happen with the way I was acting and moving and talking, that was one of the things that my neurologist wanted to know, how many concussions had you had. So my mom and I started counting and we lost track, and we're at like Thanksgiving and we're asking people, do you remember? And everybody would pipe up with their story of, remember when you did this and hit your head? Yeah. So now I'm dealing with kind of the result of that. And like I said, PT and rehab has helped a lot, but mushrooms have helped more. Don't tell my doctor that.
Kindred spirits
Oh,
and besties. So they're going to be over on your channel, and you need
I
to when
I thought
y'all get.
that.
Did you?
Yeah, I like what Juju's got to say. She always makes me giggle. Definitely, you guys. Garden chat's like my favorite hangout. My family knows it's 8 o'clock. Don't bother mom. She's watching garden chat.
Just over there. Oh, I love that. If and when you get started your YouTube or whatever other channels, let us know so we can go ahead and let everyone in the community know about it.
Awesome. I definitely will do that.
Cool.
And if you
Oh,
guys ever have any mushroom questions or microgreen questions, like I said, I'm only growing a few varieties, but I am really good at growing them. So if you ever want any help with any of that, I don't use any grow medium. I will give anybody tips and tricks that they need to be more successful doing those things, because a little mushroom bag and a little tray of greens goes a long way to feeding your family. And you people don't give enough credit to how much you can feed your family with a tray or two of greens or a bag or two of mushrooms and yummy treats. Oh, I
cool.
do feel warm and fuzzies. Hashtag
Yeah.
warm and fuzzies.
Yep. And I would say, hey, I came in here. He's on the Urban Gardener. You might jump on there, Enoch. You might want to look up Mill Creek Garden, and they're growing mushrooms. I'll show them your channel thing real quick. We'll do this real quick. If you got any like closing words to talk about, or yak about mushrooms, or just anything in general.
Now, just reach out to me if you guys ever have any mushroom questions. I am loving this little corner of the internet that we're carving out together, and I'm all over Marty's channel. I'm out there working, doing some fall crops today, and I'm thinking, oh, this would be about the time that I would go to Marty's garden and get some compost and some worms. Like I need some compost and worms. And Marty's
Right.
dad's page, you guys need to go check out Marty's dad too. His retirement
Mhm.
page is great. Like I want to start a new business and retire all in the same year, and Marty's dad's going to help me do it.
That's awesome.
But just thank you guys. Thank you guys for being so warm. And I'm kind of new to this group, but it's become a huge resource for me.
No, we love having you here. That's awesome. So anytime you feel like jumping back on, like I said, it's just a little garden chat, and you don't have to stay like the whole hour. If we're on and you got something to say, we just want to pop in, and if you've got like a mushroom to show everyone, you can jump in and show them and jump off. And so it's just
I
open door
definitely do
kind of
that.
thing here, and it'll be lots of fun. And then we want to meet your husband sometime too.
Yeah, we have to do garden chat later because he's bedtime duty. We've got a
Ah,
4-year-old, so he's usually on bedtime duty,
okay,
especially now that
cool.
garden chat's at 8. Like, oh, sorry, I can't
I
do bath
can't.
tonight. I got garden chat.
Hey, tell him one week, one weekend we'll do like uh, garden chat after dark or something.
Oh, we'll
We'll
be
do it a
there.
little
We'll
later and
be
just
there.
well, I'll just get a little drink and just chit chat.
Perfect. Perfect. We'll
Awesome.
make some mushroom espresso lattes and or mushroom martinis. Wow, mushroom espresso lattes. That would be yummy too. But we'll make some mushroom martinis and do garden chat after dark.
Yeah, yeah. Why are you so far away? Oh, you found your spirit
Where are you guys at? Where's
connections
Julie
everywhere.
and you at? I'm in Pennsylvania. We already talked about that. I think someone said she was in Tennessee. Is that what she said?
Was one I think. Yeah, where y'all at? Just holler real quick before I'm like guessing. I thought one was Colorado, or was that someone else? Mushroom and Asian market looks like dried
Hey,
jelly. Once hydrated, cooked, it tastes like bacon. Yeah, Keely has me tasting all kinds of mushrooms. Oh, what's the other one we had? King, is it a king mushroom or something? Or
Black Pearl Kings. I've seen people kind of because they grow a really juicy fruit, like it's a giant fruit. I've seen people
Mhm.
slice them up long way with some teriyaki and make like a bacon out of them. And Black Pearl Kings was one of the varieties I showed you fruit in the winter. Um, but there's so much you can do with mushrooms.
Drinking and mushroom talk, what could go wrong? Yeah,
Can't
I
think
think
of
we
anything.
shredded it up like a shredded beef or something. She threw some
And
sauce on. Pretty cool.
you can try that with your lion's mane. Take your nice fluffy ball of lion's mane, take your fork and just shred it up and
Uh-huh.
mix it with your favorite crab cake recipe. It's going to stand in for like your lump crab seafood taste. It's delicious.
Oh, cool. Did you have
Virginia,
one of
that's
those on your page? Virginia. Yeah, in Colorado. Julie's in Colorado. I remembered one. Gar-
Garden Chat After Dark. We should totally do it. Oregon, that's pretty far.
All right.
Yeah, it's a big country. It's a shame. Internet makes it feel like it's a small world, but
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Mhm.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
My yeah,
Can they
my
hear us?
little thing. Can y'all hear us? My little thing just glitched out and said your microphone's unplugged and everything. So must have just connected again.
I still haven't
Oregon.
gotten my laptop hardwired down here, so I'm on my cell phone again. Everything is like super small. If I want to read anything, I got to get really close, uncomfortably close. King,
Yeah.
yeah, Black Pearl King, King oysters. There's so many varieties of oysters. There's Tennessee.
Planning to move to Oregon.
Yes, be neighbors. We should just all get a whole lot of land, move to Oregon.
Yep. That's the ones you were talking about. You grow in a jar. Keely cuts them and puts them in her. She'll make like wonton soups and stuff.
Enoki, yeah, they go
Okay.
great in soup.
I need to do mushroom theme weekend. Yeah, definitely. So, yeah,
I
if you
would
want
be
to be
there.
on
I'd
another,
watch that.
yeah, another show, Enoch's on the Urban Gardener. He's on like every Saturday
I'm gonna go
and some
check that
Sundays.
out
Yeah. Now you're
when I get
making me
off my
hungry.
cell phone and it's bigger than thumbnail.
Okay. Yeah. Sweet. Got to go get all the fires under control. Whoa.
That's terrible. You guys are in my prayers out there. That's
Yeah.
insane. We've been having some flooding and now we're getting another. Are you guys getting another tropical storm? Is that what I saw? They named another one?
Hopefully not. I didn't. I wasn't watching the news today. I was busy editing. The other one kind of went off into the Atlantic, but it's just um, a constant thing down here.
Our area was hit with a lot of water and my prayers just go out to all my neighbors. There was some serious loss, some serious property damage. Just whole valleys become engulfed with runoff and a river that runs most of the year, just a nice little path turns into a rager in an afternoon and it washes away houses and people were trapped. They brought in the Coast Guard to north central Pennsylvania. It was bad.
Wow. Yeah, I've seen some of that news. It's just crazy, and they're all still wet from yeah, the first one I went through. It just kind of I saw it just kind of meandered through, and that's what happened down here when we had uh, back years ago. That's why we moved to Florida. We were in Georgia, and this one storm just like parked itself on Georgia and just dumped rain and rain. And so I know it's we had the river right through, went through the middle of town, just like flooded, and we were like cut off. And people are used to going back and forth. You had to go like 30 miles around. You know, there were no roads, and it's just took years to like just get back to normal.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Flash flooding does years worth of damage.
Now Keely actually painted a mural. I'm trying to think because it's many years ago, but I think we were in, maybe it was Philadelphia, but they picked us up. I think they picked us up in New Jersey. I'm not sure. I have to go back and check. But I remember we were leaving. It started like a downpour. This was years ago, but we barely made it to the airport. On the way, the canals were all like just about to spill over, and we saw like deer like trying to get away, swimming through the water, and me
Yeah.
and Keely didn't want to get stuck up there. And our client actually took us out to the airport really quick. They're fixing to close down the airports, but yeah, I know what it looks like. But beautiful country up there.
Yeah, this is God's country. It says so on the little billboard when you come into town.
My long-term goal is to create a holistic mental health and wellness center. Oh, that sounds awesome in Oregon. Oh, she said if y'all want to go join, that'd be cool.
That's beautiful work. That's powerful work. We're so disconnected from the healing properties of our own bodies, of our food. I'm down with any kind of mission like that.
Cool. And one more. Do you know Amanita muscaria?
Oh, why do you want to do the scientific names so late at night?
Yeah. We'll have to
Testing
Google
knows
that.
all the scientific names.
Here's an easier one. Lately, I've been craving cream of mushroom soup.
Yes.
You probably have some fancy cream of mushroom.
We try and keep things really simple. So Pennsylvania, especially our families, has a lot of Pennsylvania Dutch influence. So my husband's family is Polish, so there's a lot of that represented in our food. It's a lot of meat and potatoes. And when they came over here and had to adapt to growing their food over here, the potato just kind of took over. So if we're not careful, potatoes are in every single meal that we eat. And um,
Right.
when we started incorporating things like microgreens and mushrooms into our diet, it had to be something that was simple to do. It had to go into the recipes that I was already cooking. So it had to be able to go into my venison stew. It had to go with potatoes. Like it had to be easy to incorporate. So I don't do a lot of fancy food. I'm learning more and I'm being more adventurous because I now have the ingredients to do things like fun oriental soups and things like that. But we were both raised with very meat and potatoes diets and really just incorporating those better ingredients, getting away from all the potatoes and having mushrooms instead.
Yeah. I mean, the best thing is just, I mean, if sometimes we just get mushrooms and just saute them with a little garlic and salt and pepper and sit there and eat like a bowlful. I mean, you don't have to get too fancy. And
I
fried
love
mushroom,
to
I know
make
it's not.
little lion's mane chips. They're great. Just slice them up as thin as you can and saute them with some butter and salt and pepper until they're nice and crispy. I love them. They're so tasty.
Wow. Yeah. Let's see. I just harvested my potatoes today. We're going to be taking off here in a minute. I made potato soup. Awesome. All right. If everybody wants to say like good night to everyone, and we really enjoyed it, and we don't have to get to everything because we'll have you back on anytime.
Deb.
Deborah, how you doing?
I'm addicted to my mushroom coffee.
You can drink mushroom.
I shouldn't drink as much of it. So another side note I want to add, make sure you guys that are up in your mushrooms in your diet, you're drinking lots of water. Mushrooms can be hard on your liver and your kidneys. So especially if you're doing lots of mushroom coffee, lots of water too.
Lots of water. Good night. Good night, everyone. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you guys for having me. It was nice
Tracy.
talking with you, sir.
Yeah, that was awesome. Let me go ahead and sign off with everybody. Y'all, good night. Might not be on tomorrow. I'm going to give you all a break instead of being on every single night. So Sunday, I give you all a break. We'll be back Monday. I'm getting the course together. So tomorrow, I'm going to work on the introductory videos and all that in the course and get that all set. So we'll get started on that. So I'll give you a quick break and we'll let y'all go. Lift, inspire, keep on growing, be the change. Good night, everyone.
Much love.
Much love.